Sometimes you're not by your masculine self, and so you want something a little bit more feminine to watch, and so you come across Ōoku, the Hidden Chambers. This anime has a very interesting premise. A disease comes that ravages the male population only, and so women become the bulk of the working force. Insert misogynistic joke here. As a side note, according to YouTube, 10% of you are women, which I do not believe at all, so stop lying. And so you start watching Ōoku, in which the ruler has her own harem of ikemen, that's pretty boys for you people out there. And so I wonder, this is directed towards a demographic that is clearly not me, so how gay can this be? And I quickly found out, pretty gay. This isn't the first time I've watched an anime directed towards women. After all, I watched Seven Ghosts when it first came out. Don't judge me, okay? I was a child. I didn't know what I was watching. I just liked watching the pretty Japanese cartoons, okay? And I may or may not have watched Vampire Knight, and I may or may not have liked it at the time. But let's not talk about it. Let's move on to Ōoku, the Hidden Chambers. Anyway, the premise is very interesting, but the series itself isn't quite what I was expecting, as I think it relies on the audience's knowledge about feudal Japan a bit too much. This is clearly a work that wasn't meant to be friendly for an overseas audience, as it really has an emphasis on these historical elements and these traditions of Japanese history that really flew over my head. Regardless, I enjoyed the first episode. It wasn't great, but I was intrigued enough, and then I went into the second episode. And before I go any further, it's very obvious at this point that this is written by a woman, because supposedly straight male characters will have conversations like this. "Ah, you are so pretty, your face is gorgeous, your skin is immaculate." And I'm like, yeah lady, I don't think men speak to each other like that, but to each their own. And so on the second episode, the cool bossy queen from the first episode is gone, and so is the charismatic male lead, and we are left with much less interesting male characters, and things get very weird very fast. And then I go into my anime list to check out some reviews, and I discover that this is not even close to the graphic content that the series contains, and so we decided to drop Ōoku on the second episode. Do I recommend it? For my tastes, personally, no. If you're into the whole pretty boys kissing type of genre, maybe you may like it, but even then, I think it's probably a bit too historical or violent for some of you. But either way, now if you see the recommendation on Netflix, now you know. And speaking of Netflix recommendations, I still needed something to watch that was a bit more directed towards the female demographic, but a bit more wholesome, and so we stumbled upon My Happy Marriage. And spoilers, we did stick with this one, but this one is also a bit of a weird package. You get into the first episode, and this is obviously the Japanese rendition of Cinderella, with the bullied main character, the awful stepsister, the nasty stepmother, and the terrible father. Wait, what? This one is even worse than Cinderella, because in Cinderella the father was gone. That was one of the factors why the stepmother was so abusive. Here the father is present and is participating on the abuse for reasons we come to find out aren't even that good, so it's even worse. Even Shaw Tucker would be a bit appalled by all of this behavior. I mean, after all, even he was at least quick about it. So Mio, or Cinderella, is sent away for marriage to this stern military figure, this man that has turned away multiple women. And sure, he is very rough around the edges, but he is more caring than initially showed, and of course, he's hot. And so the story continues of Mio trying to overcome her emotional scars while trying to live in this happy marriage. And obviously, this is anime from Japan, and so in the second episode we discover that people may have supernatural abilities. Why? It doesn't make any sense. It wasn't even hinted at on the first episode unless you were really looking for it, but I guess it's just a thing. Anime has to have powers. It is known. And so apparently the father doesn't really like Mio because she was born without any gifts, but even then I don't think that's strong enough of a reason. This guy looks so bad. This is clearly the Disney school of making the villains seem as irredeemable as possible to make the protagonists seem better than they are. The whole supernatural abilities thing, maybe it was explained better in the source material, but in the anime it literally felt like the author wrote the first episode and then on the second one he was like, maybe I need to add a bit more spice, so let's just make the military dude shoot some ice or something. That's cool. The story or characters aren't revolutionary, but it's cute, it's wholesome. The thing that truly blew me away was the animation, which is gorgeous. It's like Violet Evergarden levels of good, and I have no idea why. I'm not complaining because obviously I love animation and I love the eye candy, but it's just so strange to me that with so many fighting anime and things that truly needed a budget that Netflix just completely butchers, and then this romance anime, which could be mostly still frames and it would be fine, has this gorgeous animation team, so I guess such is Netflix. So if you're looking for something wholesome to watch, look no further than My Happy Marriage, now on Netflix. Pay me, I'm not sponsored, but I could be. Look into it.